Hey guys, and welcome. Today I thought it'd be interesting and fitting to discuss a bit of lore around our new friend, the weapon, and how she was created in Halo Infinite. Now, I've done a bit of research into this in the past couple of hours, and there's quite a lot that we don't really get exposed to in the game story about the relationship between the Master Chief, Cortana, and of course the weapon, and even how the weapon was created. This video will take a lot of people down memory lane and refer to some of the older lore within the Halo universe, and of course, for those that are brand new to the series and to Halo in general, it's a really good indicator and a really good starting point to understand how the likes of the weapon, Cortana, were created. Make sure you guys do go check the timestamps in the description, and of course skip to the parts that you do want to hear, and the parts that you may already know, you can skip past them. If you guys do go on to enjoy this video, then of course do consider leaving a like and subscribing for more content coming. It'd be much appreciated. We're starting to try and do daily Halo lore videos around Infinite, and of course whatever you guys want to hear, so do let me know down below in the comments. Okay, so before we get into the lore behind the weapon, I need to fill in the gaps and provide some backstory on the lore and a few characters within the Halo universe. First character, Dr. Catherine Halsey. Dr. Catherine Halsey has been around since the very beginning of the Halo franchise, and still to this day plays a pivotal part in the storyline. She was the creator of Cortana and also the leader of what is referred to as the Spartan program. This was a program aimed at producing elite soldiers through mechanical and biological augmentation. This program, whilst positive later on down the line due to the additional manpower the UNSC had, was also extremely unethical at the time. All of the candidates that fit the bill for this program were children, all spanning between the age of 6 and 7 years old, specifically chosen due to their incredibly rare genetics. These candidates were kidnapped from their homes once they were identified as a perfect fit, and replaced with something called a flash clone, which would proceed to die soon thereafter due to their numerous medical complications associated with flash cloning in general of an entire human being. This was done to keep the Spartan 2 program secretive, and was also where John, Spartan 117, the Master Chief, was found. So yeah, a bit of interest and lore around the Chief there. Dr. Catherine Halsey was also the creator of Cortana. I'll keep this part short as I know that I could pretty much go on forever with this part of the story, but on May 21st, 2549, Dr. Catherine Halsey scanned and cloned her own neural pathways 20 times, breaking multiple UNSC regulations. At the time, all of her other candidates just didn't fit the bill, so in order to try and get an upper hand on the Covenant in the Covenant and UNSC war, she decided to do it herself. And of course, the end product of this cloning was Cortana. But also the other clones that were created were placed in cryogenic units on the planet Reach in case they were needed for anything in the future. Cortana was escorted off the planet Reach by a team of Spartans named Noble Team in order to be able to help the UNSC, or the Master Chief, fight against the Covenant and traverse their way around the Halo ring and gain access to the Covenant Battlenet and the ring's Forerunner architecture. And then of course, the rest is history. Okay, so of course, now that we have the bio of Dr. Catherine Halsey out of the way, and also a brief bit around Cortana and the Chief, I want to play a couple of audio logs from the Halo Infinite campaign which detail how the weapon was essentially created, where she was created, and how she was on the UNSC Infinity at the beginning of the game.
How many now?
16 systems shut down so far. Seemingly random locations. I'm attempting to lock her and the others out of the main...
You will not be able to stop her. She knows more about how this all works than, well, anyone.
Dr. Halsey,
John.
what's the plan?
The plan? Right now, we are in survival mode, again. Cortana's message has spread across the galaxy. Most sentient AI are siding with her.
Against us?
Yes. But maybe not you. Tell me, John, what was the last thing she said to you?
She said... goodbye.
Goodbye. That word has stayed with me. It has been nearly 4 months since Cortana's attack. Since that day, we have been constantly moving, trying to stay one step ahead of her. Any plan we make is risky, to say the least. This one... goodbye. She needs to be destroyed. As I say these words out loud, as I formulate the plan, I have one question. Can John do this? Can we all rely on him to do what is needed? To kill his friend?
We're coming up on Reach, Dr. Halsey.
And Blue
nearby?
No. Tell Master Chief to report to me when he has completed his mission. You took your time.
There was resistance.
I heard. Let me look at you, John. The Spartans are my greatest achievement. Do you understand that?
Are you okay, Dr. Halsey?
That would depend entirely on who you were to ask. Was the mission successful?
Yes.
Good. This is not going to be easy, John. But it is the only option we have.
She looks just like her.
If you say so. I see something else, something more innocent. From a simpler time.
Does she know me?
No. She is a blank slate. No memories, no history. Her core is nearly complete. Once it is ready, it will be up to the two of you. The weapon will lock her down. You will retrieve Cortana and bring her back here.
For execution.
For deletion. We are at war, Master Chief. If you do not think you can do this, now is the time to step down. I'm sure Spartan Lock is available.
That won't be necessary.
Good. Tomorrow will test us all.
What you've just heard is a conversation between Dr. Catherine Halsey and the Master Chief. Cortana was a huge problem at the time, and all smart AIs in the galaxy which were there to assist the UNSC were now of course following on with Cortana's plan and following the mantle of responsibility. Here is a short clip from the campaign just to prove this point even further.
Cortana, over UNSC AI Leonidas, answer. How should I proceed?
Population?
Laconia Station currently holds 76
Laconia Station.
They have orders to stand against you.
Short-sighted fools. You have served me well, Leonidas. Your sacrifice is appreciated.
Oh no.
Goodbye.
It's not blue team, is it? Oh no.
No. She took out the training facility? Those Spartans,
All gone.
all of them? Why would she...
Let's move.
One of the UNSC's most trusted AIs completely betrayed the UNSC and gave up their location to Cortana to essentially be sacrificed. In these audio logs, the Chief is of course still emotionally attached to Cortana at the time. Of course, with their vast history, it's obviously going to happen and you're not going to be able to forget that in an instant. You can really sense this emotion from the Chief throughout the campaign as well. And of course, within these audio logs, it's really apparent. Dr. Catherine Halsey could of course sense this as well, and was at first hesitant around asking the Master Chief to do this. However, the Chief was adamant that he could do this, and from that point on, the Chief's mission had begun. The Chief and Blue Team were issued to land on the planet Reach to retrieve the weapon. As we mentioned earlier on in the video, Dr. Catherine Halsey actually cloned her neural pathways 20 times. One of those was a result of Cortana, but the others were placed in cryogenic units, and of course these clones were left on Reach until they were required. Today was that day, and the Master Chief and Blue Team were sent down to retrieve one of those AI clones. Once this AI clone is retrieved, its core needs to be transferred into the AI. The core is essentially what gives it all of its information, all of its knowledge, and essentially allows it to access different architectural parts of the ring, and allows it to take in information. Very similar to how Cortana works, but of course in a different fashion. The weapon was, as Dr. Halsey mentioned, a blank slate. No memories, no history. The core's completion for this AI would finish on the UNSC Infinity, which of course is where we leave off on the first audio log for the UNSC audio logs. We can hear in the background that this core is being installed into the weapon, and of course, that's where it starts.
I don't need an ETA on the weapon.
37 minutes, 52 seconds, Captain Lasky.
I don't suppose you could speed that up?
I imagine that's a question for her, sir.
Well, fair enough.
However, also on the audio logs, this was interrupted on the UNSC Infinity by the Banished infiltrating it, and it wasn't complete as far as I can hear. Could this be the reason why the weapon didn't know anything about the Banished, the Covenant, or even Cortana's past with the Chief? However, throughout this process, Dr. Catherine Halsey did program the specimen to essentially leave out any data or information which could have left the weapon compromised, which later on down the line could have resulted in the weapon following the same path as Cortana, which of course they did not want to happen. Once the plan to create a new Cortana was thought up by Dr. Catherine Halsey, so that of course the weapon could lock her down, she knew that the Chief would not be able to do this alone. As Cortana said during the campaign, was this Halsey's plan all along? Did she anticipate Cortana doing the right thing and sacrificing herself so that the Chief and the weapon could remain partners together throughout the remainder of the story?
There's not much time. If Atriox takes control, he has the ring. A weapon pointed into the universe. Nothing left to lose. My fault. My stupid fault. Not much time. Will this work? There's a moment. John will make it work. He needs help. Of course. Was this your plan all along, Halsey? Or is it mine? It doesn't matter now. Nothing else matters. This has got to work. He can't do it on his own. He needs me. He needs her.
Halsey quoted, "This is not going to be easy, John, but it's the only option that we have," almost reiterating to the Master Chief that it's okay to feel emotional about this mission, but it is for the good of the universe. There's even some resistance in the voice of Dr. Catherine Halsey. Her most successful creation, Cortana, turned on her and the UNSC and, of course, the universe in general. She looks just like her. She is a blank slate, no memories, no history. Her core is almost ready. Once ready, it will just be the two of you. At the beginning of the game, during some of the audio logs, the Banished knew that the weapon was a part of the UNSC Infinity, which is the reasoning behind them infiltrating the ship at the start of the game. The weapon, of course, was being prepared for evac over to Zeta Halo to get her off the ship as soon as possible, and of course we could hear this on one of the audio logs from the UNSC Infinity. Of course, the best way to describe the weapon is of course the Cortana from Halo Combat Evolved. A completely fresh Cortana, which again, the Master Chief doesn't know much about her and she doesn't know much about the Master Chief. But again, they know enough about each other to be able to partner together and have that connection together. Captain Lasky sends the Chief down to the boarding bay to defend the ship, whilst the Spartans on board the UNSC Infinity and of course the weapon would go with Lasky to Zeta Halo, with of course the Chief being defeated by Atriox at the start of the game. Luckily, Lasky had escaped, else who knows what could have happened if the Banished had gotten their hands on Cortana. Of course, I'm going to do another video very soon around the UNSC Infinity, Captain Lasky, and of course where they are and what happened to them in the 6-month period where Chief was MIA. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you know when that video does go live. But guys, there we have it. That was how the weapon was created, how she was on board the UNSC Infinity, and how she was on Zeta Halo waiting for her pickup by the Master Chief. If you guys did enjoy this video, do consider dropping a like and subscribing for more content. Much appreciated. And of course, speak to you all soon.